And hello and good morning to everybody. Welcome to Basil Gaming. My name is Douglas, and we're getting into now the part 3 of the Zero Stress King Idle Defense. I'd like everyone to be aware that we have active meowing from our CC cat, as well as likely our Coco cat, the two ragdolls here. They just gave me a flyby in their little zoomy moment. So if they end up appearing on the background of the microphone, I do apologize. Or, you're welcome. Beyond that, hopefully this stream finds everyone well. I do thank you all for tuning in, seeing how things are going, the progress of this particular playthrough. And of course, if anyone has any comments, concerns, or otherwise, I'd love to hear about it in the comments if you could. So, as a recap of where we are, in this, we are currently on island number 4 in the unlock sense, but we haven't quite progressed through all of it at this moment. Let's spend some hard-earned money here. Apparently, let's max a few things out on the production side. Lovely. Good problem to have. And we're just kind of collecting, I guess, heads right now. Skulls, if you will. We do have the 4th island unlocked here. We are only striving for primarily this is the Bright Gaming, the experience bonuses for the most part. I did make a mental mistake in this playthrough about upgrading the rogue loot drop when we clearly already have way more than we need in the resource of bread or food at this time. But we are prioritizing experience gain from each of these different enemies that we're spawning across the board, and that way we can maximize the experience we're gaining to help us level as we go forward. We haven't quite finished out these unlocks of Island 4. The experience gain here from the orc on the wolf or the orc with the shield. So we'll finish out some of this island stuff here, and we can... All right, let's just pump some of these real quick. Got some experience loitering around. Mine as well. We are cruising. Experience is really kicking in, which is a great problem to have. Yeah. Here we are working on the experience for the approved cavalry. At the moment, we are facing this type of dilemma. Not too chaotic, it seems, but certainly a good amount of enemies on the field. We are seeing more and more stat-wise here that the obelisks are really kicking in. That increased damage size, along with the different types of damage coming across the field to play, seemingly is adding up. And we are staying in front of the spawning, which is really the goal. So we had a couple more of these vendors unlocked for ourselves so we can make sure we have the most. Never mind, we have the most available to us, so 70s are max here. We'll have that pretty shortly. But at the moment, though, we are just kind of moving through this. Our progress has been solid. I do like what we've come to really accomplished so far. Our efficiency level's been high. We have not struggled immensely, but there's definitely been some movement and leaps as far as dealing with bosses. We do have... Here, we'll try one just to give you guys a heads up. This most recent boss is the... I've been saying the Gul'dan boss, the character from the World of Warcraft universe. That's a part of this one. But here we have a bunch of different... I mean, by a bunch I mean apparently all of the Wolf Riders on top, plus the Gul'dan figurines. Well, yeah, see, even level 2 on this one, we are just not where we need to be as far as the damage output goes. We're about a third less damage on that wave than really where we should be. And that's the work on getting a prestige point from completing that extra battle level. As you can see, I have the check mark next to these other two. I don't have the third one here. Let's try the boss now for where we're at currently and see if we can continue to unlock things for the next island, if one exists. We'll see where that takes us. This is just the regular boss for Island 4. A lot of damage required here. I'm slightly concerned we're not going to be able to complete this level. Okay, well, at least we know now there's some threshold we got to play with. We are maxed out on the available defensive tower from Island 4 now. These dwarven shooters. Alright, well, let's see what improvements we can make to get back on track. Obviously, we can improve the damage of them. Let's just focus on that real quick. Alright. Before we go increasing any additional experiences or additional spawns even, experience gains is what I meant, or the spawns in this playthrough, probably should continue to focus on defensive increases, such as we did here with the damage for the dwarf shooter. Here on our previous tree we're all cut up. We're not quite there on these experience drops for the improved orc cavalry, but we certainly can get some more bang for our buck at these obelisks. And as we can see from our damage meter on the right hand side of the screen here, the amount of damage coming out of the obelisk is significant. And that's with mostly 2 of the 4 different obelisks not even doing damage most of the time. So let's bring some more damage from them into the fold here. Seven to 10, good starting point. Obviously very expensive, but that's going to be some damage that goes a long way to improving all of our different obelisks at this time. These improvements are small, but they add up over a course of 4 islands when they continue to be small throughout. All enemy spawn, loot drop, we're going to avoid this one for sure. Here, we can probably work to getting that. All experience drops are pretty big. The health increases, yes, but... yeah. Let's pump the radius on all of our monuments or obelisks in this game. Keep moving forward. We'll be good to go. Alright. So just a thought. It's been a good idle defense game. Eventually we'll come to the end of this one. And if it's possible, some of you who have been watching, views have been low, but we're developing the channel. Just trying to get some ideas about which game I should try to bring up next. I did mention previously that I have Factorio, a couple of mods for mostly the Crestorio mod play through for the Space Age expansion. I have the Spell Brigade, which is a cooperative 4-player Bullet Heaven, or Bullet Hell, as you may come to know it. The Rift Breaker, which is also a 4-player co-op tower slash RPG. And I have Path of Exile 2 that I will definitely be playing when the new patch drops, 0.5 patch, sometime in May. But those are some of the games I'm eyeballing at the moment that currently are in my possession, but I'd be open to pick up something if some votes come through or some feedback from you, the community. I'd like to see some different games. Please let me know in the chat or the comments, depending on where you weigh in. See if we can get some improvements here. More radius, more better. Get this additional damage here. It may be additive, but it certainly adds up. No pun intended. Too cheeky and cheesy for only 10 minutes into the stream for that to be non-pun intended. Now, some decisive things we did early on was we decided in this particular playthrough to work on production. Food primarily in Island 1, wood primarily in Island 2. Subsequently, we did a little bit of a flop, not thinking that there was a resource on Island 3, but we did have mining. We picked up immediately once we discovered it was there. We fleshed out the fact that there's the gold from mining 4 quite early, and we prioritized that. So at each stage of these island unlocks, we have been moving for production first to aid our damage dealers. In this case, the archers at the beginning, or cannons shortly thereafter. And that way our production feeds our damage dealers, and our damage dealers then reciprocate by allowing us to do more production. We could certainly go the other route, but when it came to our prestige points, we just kind of started out in the game on the first 1 or 2 streams of this game, and we didn't really have any points. We did look at the options for Imp, and some of these subsequent options here were additional enemies unlocked, additional experience gained, doesn't affect the health. Obviously more resources as well from just dying to the lava. So we went the production side of it to take really the hat-in-hand choices of we want more production first to support our troops, but the Imp would be the one you want to pick if you want to go early on. I want my troops to carry the support features for my production. You could certainly crisscross them and go one and then the other. Eventually we'll have both as we have more prestige points we're earning, but I just didn't feel like I wanted to prioritize in that direction at that time. Let's get some of these other upgrades as we're kind of just chatting here for that monument. But in that regard, that's been our choice for this playthrough. I think it was a good one. We've done well with it. We don't have a defensive choice in the very beginning with archers, so that just kind of becomes a static option. We do have 2 choices though in option 2 though, these cannons and a crossbowman. In our first play, we didn't have any prestige points at all, and we went ahead and went with the crossbowman, keeping in line with our theme for the archers. We also then went to the Dryad Huntress. We went again for this playthrough. And then the first time we went for these Orc P-women, who have a knockback facet and high crits, but their type of damage only gave them about an attack range about here, which I think severely limited their application in this game. So we got our prestige points about this time. We didn't go much further than this in our first play, and we decided to go cannons this time, and we ended up getting piercing out of the cannon options for choices, which was great. Clearly there's lots of different mobs in the field that we benefit greatly from having more damage going through multiple mobs. We had such a good choice, I think, in these Dryad Huntresses that we went with them again. The text for the other choice here on Island 2 is that they do a splash attack with a slowing effect, granted. But the piercing was really good from the Dryad Huntresses, and it also kept in line with our choice for going cannons in the piercing sense. So we went the Huntresses again. They were just very effective. Here in the secondary choice, we knew that the Orc woman with a very short range on the field really wasn't the way I wanted to go, so we went cannons this time, and they are quite good. They shoot the shotgun effect, and they have a good range that covers fairly early on, all the way to the lava, but also halfway through the screen. And you can see them as the multi-shot effect across the map here is continuous. They don't wait for targets, they kind of just shoot on the timer, which is a nice benefit, so that way you can always have them kind of loading up. Now, in this next island choice, we had the option of going with not only this dwarven shooter for what typically is a knockback effect, is what it said. White damage would knock back, but the other choice was this red damage flash attack. Red damage being a different damage on the defensive side of it. For example, the Trents, if you look to the right, the text red is what it's spelled out as, but here it looks like it might be orange. Let's just know that orange and red are being utilized here in the defensive way the same. So this particular mob would take 50% increased damage over any other mobs, but a 25% reduction of white damage. And if we look real quick here, we'll scale over the top. Red damage doesn't really have any additional effect other than the Trent. And as we continue, no additional bonus damage. In fact, the stone guy has resistance to it, so they would take 30% less damage. I think it's pretty safe to say that red damage itself is a fire damage. It does additional damage to fairies and wood entities. That seems to make sense. And the stone guys have a reduced damage taken. So we can kind of summarize that the damage taken overall is less for non-flammable mobs. But the idea behind this splash attack here was he looks like in the photo next to his beard he was carrying a grenade, kind of an open palm up with a little bit of a grenade and a flint off the top of it. That it just didn't seem like the right choice. I have piercing damage here in these cannons, piercing damage in these dryads. I've got really a piercing shotgun effect here. And I also wanted to kind of keep in line with the projectile style here with these dwarven shooters, and that's the way I've gone in this mode. Let's actually pour some resources into this. As we've been talking, our towers have been hard at work, so we were able to actually max that out, which is really nice. Now, with that in mind, we are looking pretty good here. We don't have any additional resources to play with. And at the top of the screen, I have to finalize our recap. 275 million food, 202 million wood, almost 100 million mining. We're going to call this ore, silver, platinum. We're just calling it an ore product. We have gold specifically, 27 million, but all of those are beyond our need use case right now. We don't have any more towers to buy. We don't have any more production facilities to upgrade. So we're just stockpiling these materials. And I hope, fingers crossed, but not holding my breath, that there will be an opportunity for us maybe to convert these types of damages in the future. I'm sorry, damages. These types of products towards damage or towards tower upgrades or some usefulness that is not just throw away. Upgrades, we have upgrades. Actually have one more upgrade for the obelisk I forgot to do first before that last increase of additional units from the dwarves. When we get that first, that way we can scratch that itch for the OCD and myself and maybe others watching. about 19 minutes in. If you've watched any of the previous streams on this or the VODs that have come out as a result, and you're enjoying this type of content, the analysis of trying to be efficient in the gaming space, finding small little avenues of improvement, then please give me a subscribe. Turn the notification bell on. I know it's a generic ask, everyone does, but it is a free thing that you can do to contribute to the channel, to hopefully help its growth, and to give us an opportunity as streamers to continue to develop content, not only for your viewing pleasure, but for our creative itch that we're trying to bring out here in this platform. So thank you for your time, and if you do subscribe, thank you for your subscription. I currently have 2 subscribers. Admittedly, the first one was myself on a separate account for YouTube, just to get things started so I can see some of the behind the closed doors analytics about it. And then somebody, the last stream I was going with on this particular game, did subscribe. So whoever you are, single, anonymous subscriber, thank you. Right there. Last experience upgrade for this wolf will be the last on this island. Patience, patience, and click. All right, so we have max there. We don't have the max wolves, or sorry, the bears. Well, we have the max wolves with the orc. We have now dwarves on bears. Then we have this frost giant / iron golem. We're on a white island. I think more reminiscent of mountains and snow caps. And then iron. I mean, I get the dwarf theme, right? They're mining iron in the snow-capped mountains. Or it's just a frost golem like from the movie Frozen. Example. With that in mind, though, we do have a boss we have to beat in this particular scenario. Before we start beating up on everyone's experience gain, let's go and give that boss an attempt again, now that we have some defensive upgrades well established. Pull the stat screens away here. We'll try it once here without me rolling the obelisk. I would like it to be the efficiency that works without my input, but if it's not, we'll play with it. Yep, pretty tough. We'll take control of the obelisk this time around and see if we can bring it together. Focus on one side here for this boss wave. See if I can not only slow them down, but do grave damage to them. Trying to impact the slow as much as I can. Don't you go anywhere, buddy. There we go. Looks like we're going to be able to do this. Maybe? Hey, victory. Obviously, we're not in the realm of doing that boss challenge. We'll try the orc boss challenge again. This time we'll take control of the obelisk here and see if we can just slow everyone down here at the start. Some frantic waving up and down. Just for maximizing hits and slow speeds. We're mostly concerned with the fast movers. Doesn't appear that there's a lot of knockback available in this round, which is kind of a bummer, but I get it. Seemingly is working. All right. Try another round. Same thing. Just trying to get slow on the mobs so that our defenses have an opportunity to, you know, impact them as best we can. So many spawns. Good God. I think we'll be okay though. Those, here if we looked at the stats, these. Oh, the dwarf shooters are really carrying the load. Wow, okay. That's fantastic. Let's keep up the good work here and see if we can do yet another level. I'd be very impressed if we could pound out more than just what we did. Obviously the prestige points are really nice. Come on. One more of these orc waves. Heading kind of close. We gotta slow down the big orcs, and then we got to try to, in a sense, prevent the wolves from really getting across. They've yet to spawn the frost wolf one. Don't know about the damage here. Gonna pace this back and forth just to give us the most amount of damage we can. Come on, defenses. Keep saying towers. No. Yeah, we lost the girth of our better towers in front. We'll do that one again. We came very close. That would have been maybe a little bit more consistent on the obelisks. We would have been okay. Just the pace back and forth here. Just consistency is what we're shooting for. Alright, we're doing okay. Need those cannons to kick in. That's pretty fun. Alright, we'll definitely get that going forward. There's no need to harp on that one. 100,000 for the next island. We have that unlocked. Powers are maxed. Still need to get the Bear Rider to max. Still obviously need a Golem as well and additional spawn experience. Let's see what it brings here. Zombies, huh? Resistant to green damage. Well, we don't do any of that. New defender choice is green damage, piercing all targets with a beam. Necromancers, okay, or the Banshees that have green damage, shooting multiple pellets with knockback effect and slowing. Well, keeping in line with this playthrough, I think that's probably the right choice for it. Let's go here. Go here to unlock. Alchemy Lab is our production facility. Fantastic. Maximize as much production as we can. Our prices. Okay, we got 101 in those. Okay, that's good. We'll get zombies, then ghouls, and then looks like a philosophize with the familiar skull. The name of the thing we'll be summoning is a skull with a philosophizing background. That's interesting. If you didn't watch the entirety of some of my previous streams, I said that I have an undergrad degree in philosophy. I'm interested to know what he may say. Maybe some cry out with some random gibberish. Looking forward to seeing where that takes us. Get some of these. We're going to want to just have that available. What do we have here? Reload time. Critical, sure. Standard. Anything new here? Increase the knockback. And slowing effects, the two new ones here. Okay, great. Let's get on the board here for buying as many of these facilities as we can production-wise, so we get the max amount of these banshees in play. Let's hear and spam this for a second. Now, I anticipate there should be an obelisk on this island for us to upgrade as well. So when we go back to the next screen for some skill choices, but move us forward a little bit, see if we can uncover that. At least find out maybe where this island ends. Just get the one spawn out of all the things. From the previous Island 4, there's an upgrade where we can get increased spawns for all of my current spawns. Will be a significant boost to experience. One more alchemy lab improvement. Bam, we're already there. Alright, quick. So unlock this guy. There's our obelisk. We got a new one. Fantastic. And we get focus on radius again. So now we have to... There it is. We have 5 now. Which doesn't look like it's going to be the max, but... And these banshees occupy the front side here. With the orc cannons. Okay. Like it very much. $420,000. I'm going to assume we have beyond this critical chance, the multiplier, but we have a little bit extra space over here. Oh, another production. I don't know why we need this, in truth, because we already have such a high level of production that we don't have any use for these materials. What is the basis for them? I know as I get one of each just to see where the line takes us. I didn't know if there was maybe something else for us to play with here. Interesting, though, that we'd have this yet again. We had this previously on the second island. But again, seemingly no basis to have them because we're so high up on the productions. We just got to this new island. We just unlocked the new alchemy. And we're already full on alchemy upgrades for the lab itself. And we are at 23 of 30 potential for all the banshees already. Strange. Look over here, we have Imp, oddly enough. Okay. You can have the Imp as a friend and as a foe, it appears. Friend being the prestige level and foe being the next stop on the path forward. One more on the radius here. And it does look like we are staying ahead yet again of the mobs coming, which is fantastic. Back to that efficiency hope. Need a few more resources here. But if our ability to predict the future exists, we can derive from our left panel we only have one more defensive tower, one more production building to finalize out maybe the islands in this game, unless there's going to be additional pages we can go back to and from. This might be it. Here's the radius, perfect. One upgrade each. Know where we're at. Perfect. Let's get these production values in place. Although I think it seems pretty limiting for benefit purposes. We'll come back to those. As we're already pretty far up the chain on these banshees, and we have no use for that material after that point. So let's go ahead and focus on the defensive towers that the banshee provides. Reload time, prioritizing, then damage. Then let's go with blowing effect. I know we can evenly distribute them as the experience come in and just go like this. Right? And that certainly wouldn't be negative. Trying to prioritize, I think reload time is probably the most important. More shooting, more better. Come on. In there. Two more upgrades and we'll max out that tower. Right here. Probably fair. Let's give it this orc one another shot. Quick, defensive tower. Damage. Maybe damage is slow. They are melting with just the obelisk upgrades, really. That's going to be seemingly easy. Trying to keep them slowed as long as I can. All right. Last one of the orc levels, and we get a prestige point as a result. All right, see how crazy this ends up getting. Oh, right in front. Okay. Just trying to slow things down as best we can here. No. Need more slowing obelisks. Might be okay here. Yeah, we'll definitely be okay. Great. Hey, we're champions. Check mark. I'll take that. Great to see. And we get our last upgrades on the reload time for the Banshee. Let's see. Slowing effect as well. We're cruising. All right. That brings us to 8 additional prestiges? Yes, it does. Okay. 2 more Banshees to purchase for the actual defensive use. And just need some more experience to continue to unlock things. What's our damage looking like? Lava and the obelisk damage are getting to be completely or almost completely covered up by the boss button. Cannons from the beginning still doing the most damage. Love to see that. Alright, as soon as we get this new upgrade for the Banshee, for the last one on the defense, we'll go ahead and dump all of our remaining experience into the damage the Banshee does, and any other upgrades we have left over for that. And we'll give an attempt to the boss here, just to see if we can get to the imp level decently quick. About halfway there on this upgrade. Kind of cruising. And if you've been with me for about 43 minutes, let me know, how's the volume to things? Is my voice alright? Is the volume of the game too loud? Have I made good choices? Or shall I have regret on how things have panned out for the broadcasting quality here? Let me know in a comment. And again, a reminder, subscribing is free. Price. Almost done with Banshee. One more Banshee, one more. 270 towers so far. Towers. Defensive entities. I think it's safe to say towers, probably appropriate. And almost there. Survey says victory. almost 15 to 15 here. There it is. Beautiful. One critical knockback, not super important. Let's give the boss an attempt here. And I'm just gonna let it circle and see how we do. That boss gonna get pushed back. Boss is down. That was pretty easy. Okay, well, more you know. Max level there. Push some knockback out. We'll work our way towards this guy. 250,000 for the imp. I think that's pretty achievable. Have our dwarven shield guys max as far as spawning goes and experience. Get some more of these bear riding dwarves. Well, at this point we kind of just need additional fodder on the screen for all the experience we need for all these upgrades. Now, if we went, looking ahead here, if we went the same route we did as we are currently, and at the similar pace where we're just upgrading experience to prioritize tower increases for obelisk, defensive measures more quickly, production where available, then we really don't need to go the imp route. It certainly would have helped early on, and we can push more experience-based benefits from each of the mobs more quickly. Is that the way we want to go, though? Defender damage would be significant ×2 with an additional critical chance and critical effect. I feel like very powerful choices there. If we go this route, and then we pick up this one, increase experience gain skill effects, 100%, does not affect enemy health. I mean, there we are, right? So I feel like 1, 2 for 3 points total. We have 8 currently. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or vice versa. We're 1 point away from doing the efficient thing. What does this get us again? That'd also be interesting too, because we have all this extra production we currently have. This one would be nice because it would definitely allow us to focus on more. More is better. I wonder if the obelisk, I don't think it would be, but I wonder if the obelisk is considered a unit. It is in this Zeropedia. Would increasing our tower or defense choice limits with this prestige point. Commander grants full archer upgrades at the start. Great. Also allows you to buy units beyond the limit at a much higher price. Could we theoretically then have more than 5 obelisks? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10? And then just have them spiraling in a circle of death in the middle of the screen? And hello to the viewer, whoever you are. Thank you for joining us. Feel free to comment as I'm posing these random questions to the stream. Nice to have any input you may have. I guess I'll refresh my thinking process for the individual who is streaming with us. Looking at the prestige option, the herbalist, once we have the choice to unlock with more of our prestige points currently, has an option here that grants full upgrades to all the archers at the start of the game, but it also allows you to buy units beyond the limit at this much higher price. What are units? Are units only the things that spawn? Or are the units towers? Defensive structures? Whose units? If we can buy more obelisks, that'd be crazy important, I think. If we just get to spawn more items, this would likely go hand in hand with this imp to recover experience that dives into the lava. Consideration, of course, but we're getting to the point where we need to consider whether or not we're going to continue to upgrade defensive measures or production values. I don't know what we need production for at the moment, though, and obviously unlock our imp here. I'll just click on the imp and see where it takes us to this new island. All right, we got portals here. See what the island has for us. Rune crafting. Could be our new production. See what this takes us here. Apparently now we're at maximum rune crafting. I have no idea what that grants us. Let's see what tower choice we want to go with here at the top. A new defender, which is white damage and fast shooting. Opens a portal. Yep. Next one is red damage splash attack. We haven't gone with any of the splash attacks previously, so let's stick with potentially the projectile choice. That's going to be this open a portal. Not much of a name, but go this route. You can get quite a few of them, actually. Damage, max range, of course. Get one of each. Critical chance, critical multiplier. Pretty straightforward. Increases knockback. The knockback is the primary thrust for things. Now we also have 10 prestige points. We occupy a spot, not quite the front, not quite the back here. Get 500k here and see if we also unlock some additional upgrades. We do more spawning options, more damage multipliers. There we go. That's a nice one. And then another obelisk, of course. Great, a new obelisk, so it gives us another one entirely. Unlock the new one first. Big upgrades here, though. Big upgrades. Perfect. Area effect again. Damage is typical. The players is exactly like the one from Island 2 as well, it appears. Radius. Okay, just a single spot, nothing tearing off that. Investigating the trees in the moment. A chance, I imagine a multiplier here, of course. That should satisfy the remainder of this area. Yep. Alright, we'll put 1 point into it just to make sure we have it. It is. And I imagine it to be the same here for this choice as well. Yep, same as the previous islands. With no tether to another island, even though we have significant space on the outsides here. Alright, cool. So we're in the end game here. Don't think there's any better choice we can have other than just spamming the multiplier of defender damage. I think that's gonna be the big one. Do the stories here. There's our last obelisk. That completes the space on top. That makes sense. Don't know what the black one does. Let's see what it actually kind of damage does it do. Apparently has knockback. Alright, get some more imps. You know, 60 of them. What are they shooting? Or what are they actually sending out into the ether here? I think they're actually hucking their what appears to be a staff at first, but I think it's actually a little trident. Very cool. We'll go with that. I do think in the similar tooth, we're in the same boat here as this production option. What is the point of maxing that out at the moment? We're not really in a bad way yearning for resources here, so let's just focus on getting all these guys as best we can. Certainly have a lot of these imps. Considering all of our options. Well, let's get this last couple levels here of the industrialization. I don't know what it is we're projecting other than the rune cards. Should correlate. It says here buy runes, right? This should be a rune producer or demon forge, something like that. Industrialization may not be the most optimal way to denote what it is taking place there. Alright, I think it's safe to say we're in a good space here. I think this monument area would be fantastic. Let's do a couple, go back and forth here between all defender damages and area a couple of times, and then we'll give a shot to these dwarven entities. See what we can take there up to level 5 for the prestige point. He's have one and everything. Now at least. Bring the zombies in. Ghouls and this Death Knight. Now it's a Death Knight. Or it was a Philosophize with the Familiar Skull. Well, those two don't seem anywhere near the same. That's, I mean, Dust, an Ancient Crypt. Ghoul. Visit the graves of glorious ancestors and get a zombie. That pretty much makes sense, but Philosophize with the Familiar Skull, you get a Death Knight? Yeah, okay, I'll buy it. One more on the monument radius. Biggin. Just over an hour into the stream today. See how far we can take it. About another 45 minutes, I think. If you are enjoying this broadcast and the VOD after the live performance, please leave a comment. Let me know. If I'm not doing a great job, also leave a comment. Let me know. What would you like to see for improvement? Happy to get the feedback. Went with the imp first before the obelisk because needed to be able to make sure we're continuing to improve these as resources keep piling in. We don't want to have them sitting idle on the side. I know we don't have a ton of damage into it yet. And the knockback certainly not improved very well. But just want to make sure we have them available for upgrade as we... Obviously the killing of the units continues to accelerate as we have all of these things hitting the table at the same time. One more will do it. Perfect. Now we can emphasize just doing the things. Alright, let's give a shot to this new dwarf boss level. Need 5 of them, apparently, to get past the prestige part. See how we do. A lot of slowing effects. Oh, I mean, they're quite strong units. There's no question about it. They have a lot of resistances to a lot of things. And if I don't focus the obelisks, still got it. All right, try level 2. I'm gonna help here, just making sure we get these guys down. We're just gonna lump up their most armored units in the middle like this. I feel like kind of a poor choice. Poor choice indeed. Level 3. They gotta start late with these guys here. Okay, perfect. Keep zigzagging here, up and down, so we can get everyone kind of clustered together. Blowing them all. Seems pretty straightforward. Obelisk is definitely killing the show the most here. Hold down there. Let's get an upgrade here. Oh, not quite there yet. One moment. We'll get this upgrade real quick and back to the dwarven boss, level 4. Imps are only 7 away from maxing out as well. Dwindling them down slowly but surely. Work. Get rid of the amazing kill volume. Alright, level 5. Let's try the last one of the dwarves here, and we'll do some more upgrades for a second. Oh lordy. Should be good to go here. All right. And another prestige point. Let's try the next spot. It does appear I'm getting some feedback from the YouTube studio that I'm not setting enough video to maintain a smooth stream. Wonder what's going on in that regard. Well, if you're looking at this, let me know if you are seeing jitter. I'll have to address that in some way. Trying to focus here a little bit. A little on the quiet side, though. Sorry. I don't think I can slow these guys any more than I already am. Nice. Buy some upgrades. Sorry for the silence here. I'm receiving some errors on the stream, so I'm trying to see if I can fix it as far as bitrate is concerned. Sorry for those of you trying to watch. Quality seems to have dipped. I'm getting, unfortunately, a lot of dropped frames right now, and I cannot quite explain that. Well, I apologize to all of you who can still hear me. I'm struggling with the bitrate on the stream. I'm not quite sure what the problem is. I'll have to investigate it to find out further, and we'll go from there. I do apologize. Let me see what I can do as far as fixing that goes, and we'll come back to this. We'll stream again, maybe in the next couple of days, to finalize this out. Sorry for the delay on this, and sorry for those of you who stuck it out for the bitrate problem. We know what your hopes and dreams are for this stream, and let me know. This has been a Basil Gaming production. My name is Douglas. Thank you for thinking of the game with me, and please have a wonderful day.